Eli Sharabi was released from Hamas captivity on October 8 this year. This week, he already published his book, Kidnapped. Hello, Eli.
Hello.
In your book, right from the beginning, you sound very focused. You even describe the moment of the kidnapping in a very focused way. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the first moment you leave that zone of control is when you go down into the tunnels?
It was a moment I really feared. The moment of going down into the tunnels basically makes it clear to you that you are in captivity, exactly as you imagined in those nightmares. And it's a jarring moment, but it's a moment, and that's it. The moment you understand that you have to survive, you once again choose to go down and not resist. The point is to stay alive, fulfill the promise to your daughters that you will return.
Do you know today what your daughters went through in their final moments? Did you ask?
I asked to know, sparingly. I understand, in general, that they were murdered in our home 5 minutes after I was kidnapped. It came from Gaza. I understand that if the terrorists had reached us an hour earlier, it could have been different.
What do you mean?
It means that the order to murder everyone, except for men under 40, came from Gaza at 10:30 in the morning. So if they had reached us at 10, at 9:30, then maybe they would have been kidnapped. Maybe they would have been left alone because of their British passports. But at 10:45, the terrorists reached the house, something like that, and the order had already been given. Apparently, to them, I looked under age 40. I don't know how, so I was kidnapped, and they were murdered.
What is the last thing your daughter said to you?
We weren't able to say goodbye properly. I can't process that these were our last moments together. I remember the terribly, terribly frightened look of the girls. There was no hysteria. All in all, I leave them in a calm state at home. I assume that the fact that they had British passports influenced the captors and that they wouldn't do anything to them, and I would be kidnapped. For the entire period of captivity, the October 7 fear in my daughter's eyes, the moments the terrorists were at the entrance of the safe room, that's a look I can't forget for a single moment.
After a little over a month held in a family's home, Eli was taken down to the tunnels. From that moment until his release, he was held underground. A short time after they took him down to the tunnel, he was joined by Elon Ohel, Aliyah Cohen, and Or Levy. Elon is the only one who remains in the tunnels. What does it mean to be in a tunnel?
It means being in a closed space, 50 meters underground, in relative darkness, LED lights here and there that are powered by batteries, and even that battery has a lifespan of a few hours. Sometimes you eat in complete darkness. You don't know what you're eating, if you're eating. A septic tank that overflows sometimes, very small spaces.
What was the sanitary situation in the tunnels?
Horrible. As I said, the sewage overflowed, a terrible smell, a shower once a month and a half, with half a bucket of cold water. Soap is a luxury. Toothpaste is a luxury, which you see only once every few months. Worms in everything, inside the toilet tank and on the mirror, and on the sink and on the floor and everywhere. Luckily, my vision isn't that good, so I didn't see it. And it's preferable not to see. The guys who can see, okay. The young guys saw everything everywhere. Horrifying. Horrifying.
You write in your book at some point about them asking you to repeat verses from the Quran, right?
When they saw that we were very, very hungry, suddenly at 2 a.m, you'd go to the bathroom and they'd stop you on the way and try to bribe you with food so you read verses from the Quran. On the face of it, it's a given. You just want something more to eat. The hunger was very, very strong. I just refused. I refused on the grounds that I'm simply not a religious person. On the one hand, as I said, you manage these relationships very, very delicately, so you can refuse as a point of honor, or say, I'm a Jew. What are you even suggesting to me?
But you yourself, why did you refuse?
Because it was another small victory in the battle to remain human, to remain a Jew.
In one of the chapters, you write that the terrorists were boosted by watching videos of October 7th. Tell me about those events.
Those are events where they would sit in the kitchen area. We would go to the bathroom, and from time to time, so we would hear and see those videos on their laptops. They would talk among themselves about it, and they would get excited. And we would hear the sounds of October 7th. Yes, something completely sick.
Did they talk to you about it? About October 7th?
Quite a bit. Absolutely. How they succeeded and how that they will come again on 26th and on the 27th and on the 28th and will murder all of us. And it doesn't matter if it takes 100 or 200 years. And their grandchildren will get to be there.
Was there any regret about October 7th?
I believe that if they take a cold look at it, then it's clear they have regrets. It didn't achieve what they expected from it. Maybe the thought the whole time that this thing was going to end within a month, 2 months. They are very confused that Israel is continuing the war.
Did they really believe it would be over in a month or two?
Yes, totally. There wasn't one of them who didn't believe that. They were very surprised that it is continuing. They absolutely didn't expect that. It's clear that Israel surprised them. They're waiting with bated breath for this thing to end.
Why are they waiting?
Because it's hard for them. They're pretty much finished. They cried at night. They don't want to die like they say.
If you could say something today to one of them, say to the terrorist who beat you in that event, that time you got such hard blows.
There's no doubt that I would have been able to kill him. Let's just say that if I have the right one day to press the button that will kill him, then I would be happy to do it. On the other hand, there's a square, who was our angel. That's what we called him, nicknamed him at some stage, because he saved us time after time and sneaked food to us when we really, really needed. So actually, I wouldn't be willing to say thank you.
People are surprised that you say that about a Hamas terrorist, call him an angel.
I can understand why it would raise eyebrows, but when someone suddenly threw us 4 captives a pita and we divided it into quarters, we had something to put in our mouths before sleep. That was the entire world for us. We thanked him for that. We knew he didn't have to do it. He could, like everyone else, watch us rot there.
You say you knew at every stage they would be prepared to shoot you, right?
Right, yes.
Even the square?
Yes.
When we saw you getting out of the Hamas car, so thin and gaunt.
Well, that's after 10 days that we've been eating well. After 10 days of eating 6 pitas a day, it was clear to them that they needed to fatten us up. So the 44 kilo I weighed when I got out on February 8th, I probably weighed even less before that.
When is the moment you felt truly free? The first moment?
The moment that the survival mode left me was when the door of the Red Cross vehicle closed. When I understood I was really on my way to being free. It took on a very, very strong meaning at that moment, and I was waiting in the car for the moment I'd meet my wife and daughters. Until the moment the social worker told me that Mom and Osnat are waiting, and not the girls.
And then you already understood?
I understood completely. That's the moment I understood that the worst of all has happened.
Eli, what do you wish for yourself today?
If only I can be healthy and anonymous.
Yes, you want to be anonymous.
If only.
Do you think it's possible?
No.
You wrote a book knowing...
Right.
Why?
Because it's important to tell the story and for it to be documented. And it's important not to forget the details, mainly for the hostages who are still left there. And we need to bring this into the public consciousness and bring everyone home today, if only today, all of them.